there, cool cats. I'm the Jeopardy's sound director, and this is my studio. It's too bad that the man won't give me the okay to jazz this Jeopardy thing up. This is just the classic European style, agreeable melodies, matching harmonies. You see, I could add a double flat, a -13, augmented 7th with a -8, like this. Oh wait, that was just dissonance. We weren't always this creative. All the old European art songs had no improv at all. But thanks to jazz, with a fake book or even with great oral skills, musicians were able to keep up the basics of standards while changing it up enough to make it their own. For example, take the song Impressions by John Coltrane. Do you see how simple this is? It is just the melody, what everyone knows it for. However, if you add the chords and you do different things with those chords, that's how you improvise. But you probably don't know that song. Take a more popular song, also in the 60s, by the guitarist Antonio Carlos Jobim. I'm sure you recognize this one just by me playing the melody or the right hands. You already know what it is. Besides using your ear skills or a fake book, there's also just free jazz, so everyone just does their own thing. Take for Ornette Coleman started this, so that's what it would be like if I had some other people around and I just gave them an idea instead of a pitch or keys or anything. So I said, play like a river, and I'd just go like, and no one would know what I'm doing, and it would sound like a mess. But oh well. But there were still the traditionalists in jazz. Take for example, the singers Ella Fitzgerald or Billie Holiday, or even the later pianist Bill Evans, keeping things smooth and pleasant. Not all jazz standards were original pieces though. Some started to come from popular media, for example movies or Broadway. Take for example, Oklahoma's Surrey with the Fringe on Top, or everyone's favorite, Sound of Music's My Favorite Thing. You see, you don't need to be into jazz to know what that is. Also, another note, changing chords from one to another is also called a chord progression. Speaking of Broadway, their musical styles changed dramatically over time because of these different experimental movements. Take, for example, Gershwin. He was a pioneer, bringing all-American rhythms to the stage with Porgy and Bess, which is all about African-American hymn styles, and merging his classical background with new jazz subjects in his instrument pieces. Take, for example, Rhapsody in Blue. After that, the golden age of Broadway was dominated by Oscar and Hammerstein, with the lush orchestral backgrounds and voice of the European style of musicals. You might know them, they're quite famous on Broadway for The Sound of Music in Oklahoma. However, Leonard Bernstein came along and introduced radical shifts with a jazz and rock and roll centric West Side Story. He also utilized his classical training for interesting style combinations, which did spark the new age of funk movements, like in Hair. Cinema followed a similar journey from traditional to modern with Bernard Herrmann's iconoclast score in Psycho. He used the instruments for their primitive sounds, not just standard music. Its dissonance is quite reminiscent of Penderecki's Threnody for the Victims of Hiroshima. Quickly changed to more explicit topics, but using euphemisms so it didn't that much concern the parents. For example, White Rabbit, written by Grace Slick and recorded by the Jefferson Airplane, is all about drugs, and it's easy to tell. It is important to know that out of all the music innovators of the 1960s, Leonard Bernstein was one of the most audience-oriented. Some of his friends, like John Cage, were a lot more experimental, and you could barely even call it music. For example, he has a piece called 433, which I will play for you later, but also, because of his works in live-action art, he inspired Krakoa's 18 Happenings in 6 parts. However, though Krakoa used them as props and he wanted to control it, John Cage wanted to make sure that no authority could control art. Because I'm a bit rusty, I cannot play all of John Cage's 433. It's for any instrument in any key, and here it goes. and that was like 1/8 of 433. They were all experimenters in aleatoric music. Aleatoric music is any music that has some form of chance or randomness from being performed, either decided by the performer or totally random and independent things so you can't control it anyway. Of course, if you really want to be on the edge of society, so not popular with any sort of group really, you could be with a minimalist. Take for example Terry Riley's In C. Oh, for too much experimenting.